I'm tuned into the Lady Charmaine live show, and I'm your host, Lady Charmaine. And as always, I have another great interview for you today. And when you think of songs like As We Lay, Computer Love, Her Lady, Her Lover, Her Lord, and I Can't Go On Without You, only one voice should come to mind. And I tell you who it is coming up right after this. My guest today is no longer a stranger to the Lady Charmaine live show. I have followed this woman's career since the release of her first single, which used to air on my local radio station at 6:05 in the morning. And she is here today to talk about her TV One unsung episode, The Story of Miss Shirley Murdock. Help me welcome my friend, Miss Shirley Murdock.
My sister, how you doing, love?
I am so good. It is so good to have you on the show. It is so funny. You and I was talking off the air because most people don't know that I know quite a few people that come on my show. So I have to handle everything professionally. When I get the interview request, I'm like, absolutely, she can come on the show. But they don't know that you're a dear friend of mine. But, it's so funny. TV One has no idea how close you and I really are. But of course she can come on.
They don't know you famous. Lady Charmaine famous, y'all. Y'all need to understand that
now. No. You famous. So I said, okay, I'm going to let the secret out the bag. Miss Shirley Murdock is a dear friend of mine, and I love her dearly. So it is so good to have you on the show. It's so funny because when I went to KBLX's Stone Soul, Zap was killing it on stage, and I was texting you from the Stone Soul concert. Ooh, they killing it on stage. As they always do anyway. But anyway, it is so good to have you on the show. And you got your TV One unsung episode that's going to be airing on Sunday. So the audience get a chance to hear your story. Of course, you're not unsung. You know what I mean? You still doing your thing out there, Miss Shirley.
Yes, Lord, bless the Lord.
Yeah, but your story is so interesting. So for those who don't know your story, I just want to kind of go through your story a little bit, from you growing up singing in the church to literally where you are today, to how you met Rodger and your career, because it is a very interesting story. And then how sometimes the church people can treat you if you sing a secular song, but Jesus was always with you in your heart, and you never left Jesus. So you were always saved, loving the Lord. Right. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about your story. So why did you decide to do Unsung?
Well, I got a call. The very first time I had an opportunity to work with Unsung is I was a part of the feature for Zap Troutman and the group Zap. Rodger Troutman and the group Zap. And then I got a call sometime last year, and it takes time to get it all together. They came to Dayton, where I live, Dayton, Ohio, and we spent a few days just doing interviews. They interviewed my husband, my son, some of my brothers and sisters, from church, people that I grew up with, people from the industry. Oh my gosh! And so it's really, I'm just really glad to have this opportunity to share my journey, share my story with the fans who've been so loyal all of these 30-some years.
Well, you do have some loyal fans, because as a matter of fact, you know that I'm absolutely one of them, because I love you. And it's so funny because I've told you this before. On my local radio station out in Oakland, there was this song that would come on every morning at 6:05 in the morning, and it would start off with the beautiful key. I can't sing it.
It's morning.
There you go. And it would wake me up. And I slept with the radio on, and that was the song that came on. And then every song, every hit you had after that. From I Can't Go On Without You, I was literally I'm a lip syncer. So for those who don't know, I'm not a singer. I was told I was tone deaf. And just recently in my kitchen, I was playing your song Husband, and I was lip syncing it to my husband, and he was like, yeah, because you're that lady's husband. and people
Don't worry about it, baby.
together.
I got your back. You just go ahead and sing.
Look, yeah,
I got you. Don't worry about it. I'll make it work for you.
Look, absolutely, absolutely. But just your music, and I want people to know how you came to meet Rodger, because your meeting him literally changed the trajectory of your life. So let's talk about, how did you come to meet him?
It absolutely changed not only the trajectory of my life, but his too.
Mm-hmm.
I was seeking to be a gospel singer.
Mm-hmm.
And I had many opportunities to sing R&B, but I turned it down because, as I grew in my relationship with God, I was saved, and it's like, okay, well, as a young girl growing up, I thought I was going to be a singer, sing for everybody in the whole world, But when I gave my life to the Lord and began to really grow in my relationship with God, I said, well, I dedicated myself to pursuing a gospel career, and I turned those secular opportunities down time and time again. I even turned Rodger down. He heard me singing on a tape that my cousin had when she came to visit. I was singing a song called "Jesus Is Love" by the Commodores. And while I was in full-time, before I got laid off of full-time ministry, we went from, I was a part of a crusade team. We went all over the country and we did crusades and we would stay in the city for a week. And then we had various themes. So the theme for the crusade in Toledo, my hometown, was called "Jesus Is Love." So we adopted that song. So here I'm out, working, traveling. My cousin came to visit our family in Toledo. My mother gave her a copy. She took it back to let Rodger Troutman and Larry hear it. And when I got back home, my family was really like geeked, like Jill was here and Rodger Troutman want to hear you. And want to know, do you want to make records? Rodger Troutman and Zap. I'm like, what's Rodger and what's a Zap?
Okay.
Because I was into gospel music, and it's not like my head was buried in the sand. Like I heard songs on the radio, but I wasn't familiar with who the artist was because that just really wasn't my choice of music. And so my sister, my oldest sister, and I drove to Dayton to talk to Rodger, and I told him I wanted to sing gospel. They said, well, they didn't have any connections in gospel, so I said, well, thank you, but no, thank you. But he said, well, we'd like to help you. If you ever want to give us a chance, we really want to help you. So I left the girlfriend, scratching my head and like, God, what's up? Why is this the only thing? Why is secular music the only thing that's coming? I want to sing gospel music. But then, I had to stop and think and look over my life's experience and to remember that no matter what secular job I had, as a child of God, I just stopped being a child of God.
Right.
As a child of God, I just stopped being a witness. As a child of God, I just stopped letting my light shine.
Right.
As a child of God, I didn't cut the fold. You know what I mean? So it's like you just be faithful in your station wherever God plants you. That's where wherever God sends you, you just be who you are and whose you are. So for me, I prayed about it. I talked to my pastor, talked to my family. And it's like, okay, well, it's no different than me switching jobs, going from J.C. Penney to Olsen and Jewelers.
Right.
I'm not going to leave the Lord. I'm not going to leave godliness. I'm not going to leave the saved life to go to go sing secular music. I'm taking it with me. And what's going to keep me are the messages that I heard as I heard my pastor preach as I was sitting in the choir stand. So all of those things helped me to make the decision, and I had peace. So I walked by faith through the door that God opened for me. Now, a lot of people might have a problem with it, right, but I had to honor what I had to honor where I felt God was leading me. And I know that the Bible says that my footsteps are ordered by God.
All right.
And so you talk about, the changing the trajectory. So my experience in R&B is not getting drunk, getting on drugs. The Lord planted me in a drug-free organization. Now, these guys, they were real guys, and they loved women, okay? But my relationship with these guys, it was platonic, and it was holding up being a godly woman in front of these guys. And so in the interim of the years that I've been with Rodger gave his life to the Lord. He told me that he said, I do a lot of saved people, but I watched your life. He said, and I believe that you are who you say you are. Larry Troutman would only allow my husband Dale and myself to talk to him about the Lord because he said that we lived what we talked about. So, and then the whole culture of that production company changed because many of the brothers are saved and married and being faithful to their wives. You know, coming from funk, R&B, woo, you know what I mean? Crazy time. But what I learned is that the Holy Spirit will keep you if you want to be kept. We are salt and we're light. And wherever God plants you, that's where you're supposed to be. Who you say you is.
All right.
So you know, light shines brightest in darkness, and salt saves and preserves. So wherever God plants you, people who are listening on their job, God's got you right there, baby, on purpose with purpose, because you are salt. You are that thing that's saving. You are that thing that's preserving, but you're also that light because they watch your life because your life might be the only Bible that they'll ever read.
All right. Because it's so interesting because you say you went to your church, you prayed, and God gave you that release. And then your first single is a song called As We Lay, dealing with adultery. So let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that because that seems like such an oxymoron, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Everybody that prayed for you, gave you release in the church. And now we're going to sing about Thou Shalt Not Commit Adultery. First single.
Well, you know what's so funny? What was so funny is I came out the choir stand to the club, so it was culture shock. But you know, like I said, you know, I remain true to my love for the Lord and my commitment to the Lord, and so here we are. When I was presented with As We Lay, I'm like, okay, now I got a problem with this song, and my problem with this song is that, you know, being a born again Christian,
right?
You know, that ain't right. I say that ain't right. So I said, okay, I'll sing this song if you let me add these lyrics. And what I added was, we should have counted up the cost, but instead we got lost in the second, in the minute, in the hour. Because it wasn't enough to just as we lay. Because what I wanted people to understand is that there are consequences attached to decisions that you make in life. And so when I said it's morning, dirt is done in the dark.
Right.
But in the light of morning, everything is exposed. So what you going to do about it? What you going to do about last night? You need to think about the fact that what you do just doesn't affect you. It affects everybody in your world. Who's going to be hurt behind this? Because people make permanent decisions based upon a temporary situation. Last night it seemed right, but in the light of morning, what do you think about it now? What about the wife? What about the husband? What about the kids? Well, you know that's going to be affected by divorce. What about the young girl who ends up having trust issues because Papa was a Rolling Stone? So we have to think about those things in life and how we affect each people with the things that we do. So for me, As We Lay was not a celebratory song about infidelity. Yes, it was about infidelity, and it surely got your attention. Yeah, but it was really a sad song about regret and consequences.
You know, Miss Shirley, I remember I think it was about 8 years ago when you guys came to San Francisco. And I think it was at Hotel Nico when we were there. And I was actually able to witness as you ministered that song, As We Lay. And then God began to use you right here in Hotel Nico. I'll never forget the people that were in there tearing up, the people that were in there crying as you were ministering on stage with Zap. And so you allowed God to use you singing those songs. So it was like God gave you this platform. And I remember, what is the drummer's name in Zap? What's his name? Lester. And I remember that's when Lester Troutman, when he came, and I believe he came and told his testimony, and it was so powerful, and I'm still touched by that today. So everybody is watching. He flew in from his grandbaby's funeral that was killed by a hit and run driver and got on the airplane and then came and did the show the same day in San Francisco. And he was able to stand flat-footed in front of all of us to tell us how God gave him the strength. That right there tore me up. For you to leave your grandbaby funeral and still do a show that day, I don't know, but you knew that was God that gave him strength. That stays with me to this day.
Yes, and so I watched Lester grow. I watched those guys in the band grow in their relationship with God. And what I love about Zap is that sometimes they're in front of tens of thousands of people, and they always take time, as I do, to take a moment to recognize God. See, I believe that you have to make room for God. When you make room for God, God shows up. See, and I don't know about you, I need God to show up in all that I do. So as they make room for God, there are people who will go to church the next day saying, I heard a word at a Zap concert. I heard a word at a Shirley Murdock concert. I heard a word at a Kelly Price concert. I heard a word at a Regina Bell concert. God has to have ambassadors at every station in life. Otherwise, how can the word go forth? The Great Commission is go ye therefore, not stay in the house.
And Shirley, okay, this is another thing that I love, because you went from a song called As We Lay, We Forgot About Tomorrow As We Lay, to one of my favorite jams I told you earlier, to Husband. Now, you're that lady's husband. My desire for you is strong, but I won't do wrong. How did you go from As We Lay to I ain't touching this woman's husband?
Because I think As We Lay, when it was, first of all, Larry and Billy Beck from the Ohio Players wrote As We Lay. And there's some more stuff about As We Lay that you'll find out in the episodes. I don't want to give that away. But on the next CD, the Woman's Point of View CD, Larry and Rodger wrote Husband, and they presented that. I thought it was a perfect follow-up to As We Lay. So if a woman or somebody found themselves caught up in the As We Lay situation, now you have an opportunity to make a better a better choice.
Right.
It says, my desire, like you said, my desire for you is strong, but I won't do wrong. And check this out. It said, I'm a lady with class.
Yes,
I know my desire will pass.
Yes.
This will not occur. You're that lady's husband. So I think people need to stop and listen to the lyrics, because I've kind of been accused of always thinking about somebody's husband. But I'm like, well, baby, did you listen to what I said?
That's right. That's right. It's true. And you were totally honest in the song, I'm a Lady with Class. And I know, because we have desires, but it ain't going to last. This thing going to pass.
That's right.
It is going to pass.
That's right.
That's the powerful point in the song.
Listen, there's a time you got to run, force, run. So, and the Bible says, resist the devil and he'll flee.
Right,
so
right.
Somebody out there got that woman's husband's number in your phone. Baby, you need to hit delete, or you need to rename it devil. So every time that phone rings, you know you answering the devil.
Right. So I call it your follow-up jam to As We Lay. And then you and Rodger, of course, I love this story. I want you guys to watch Unsung and how they came up with the song Computer Love. And did you realize that being in the studio for 3 days was going to produce a song that was going to last throughout the decades, and it's called Computer Love? And it's so prophetic, Miss Shirley, because how many people can literally say today they met their husbands online? A true computer love.
Isn't that crazy? That is really crazy. But you know what? God is the source of all creativity. And I actually wrote the lyrics to Computer Love. And so therefore, I know that creativity, many times I write a song and I go, okay, now I know that wasn't me.
Right.
You could be honest. I'm good, but I ain't that good. But you know, the fact that it's lasted this long, that the songs are classics. Rodger at that time was kind of feeling like people might be a little tired of the talk box, and I remember him having a conversation. He had a conversation with my husband Dale, and Dale was saying, "Well, man, no, they're not tired of the talk box. Maybe just try another route. Maybe do a ballad with the talk box. Maybe do a love song with maybe a computer falls in love." So from that, Dale went in and laid the track, and then Rodger came in with the talk box and laid the hook, and Charlie Wilson, Uncle Charlie, happened to come through the studio, and he heard this. Rodger played it for him, and he started singing. So Rodger covered his mouth because Rodger didn't want him to waste it until he got it ready to record, right? So everything that Rodger did, Charlie did, because it was only the hook. There were no verses at that particular time. So when Rodger say digital love, Charlie said digital love, computer love. He just repeated, right? And boy, did he repeat it. And so then Rodger and I went into the rehearsal hall, and we just started fumbling around and thinking about the story. And what I really did is, like, I wrote the song. I'm able, this is a gift from God, to be able to write a song from the man's point of view because I've been around dudes.
Right.
Being around those guys and being a woman, I know what a woman wants to hear.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I'm able to kind of like speak both languages and translate. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, I thought about Rodger. I thought about the guys. You know, I've been searching for someone, you know, who can share that special love with me because them guys been around, right? And so, you know, could it be your face I've seen on my computer screen? You know, I need a special girl, and I wanted you know, because I was in a wonderful relationship. I met my husband. We were friends. We were dating. I wanted everybody to be in a wonderful relationship. So, so the lyrics, you know, all about, you know, finding someone, having that relationship, somebody to share, you know, to share your treasure, to share your life with, to share your hopes and your dreams with. But it's amazing because that song is still, and even As We Lay is still one of the most requested songs on the Quiet Storm. It's crazy how these songs have a life of their own.
And just the melodic melody, I think of As We Lay, just when you hear it, it's literally, although the lyrics may be adulterous, but literally there's a piece when you hear the song, the way the song is played. It's truly a Quiet Storm song. It's definitely perfect.
Absolutely. But again, there's some tidbits about that song. When you watch the episode, you'll get a better understanding about As We Lay and how it came about.
Okay. Now, when I say that you meeting Rodger literally changed the trajectory of your life, I just want people to also know with her joining with Rodger, that's how she met her husband, because her husband was also a part of ZAP. So, and that's her husband of 32 years now, Miss Shirley. Is it 32 years? How long you been married?
32 on June 18th.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, because I think your husband, I posted something last year. As a matter of fact, he will, because later on, you're going to see Miss Corinne Hawthorne, who talk about what he do on the show later on today. So, yes, he will. And then I want to talk to you before we go. There was something that happened that's so tragic, because the Troutman family was truly a family. You got Shirley, you have Dale, and you have the Troutmans, and then something tragic that was unbelievable that literally shocked us all. And I wanted to talk to you about how did that affect you and how did you come out of it? And it's when Rodger was killed by his brother and then his brother committed suicide. Where were you when you found out about that?
I was actually traveling with I do plays. I'm an actor. And I was out with a play. I think I was out with Why Good Girls Like Bad Boys. And I got the phone call. And it was the most devastating news that you could ever hear. It was triple devastating for me because I lost my mom 6 months before that. So I was grieving my mom, and then that happened. But I tell you, honey, I say, honey, if it weren't for the Lord, baby, I should be in the crazy house on crack. God is a keeper, honey. But he promised. That's when the word had to kick in. That's when my faith had to kick in. You know, and I remember looking up to God and saying, you know, and even with my mom and saying, God, if I'm here, I must be able to bear it because you promised. You will not put more on me than I can bear. So if I'm going through this, I must be able to bear it, not because of my strength, but because your word says that it's because of your strength. Your strength is made perfect in my weakness. And right now, God, I'm pretty doggone weak. And it was his strength. It was my faith. It was his faithfulness. It was the love that I have and the memories that I have for those two. Even though it was a horrific act, I could not love Larry any less because of what he was to me. He was a surrogate father. And I was so sad that he was at the point, for someone who commits suicide, you know, first of all, it's a senseless act. You'll never understand it. Right. Senseless means devoid of sense. Don't have no sense, ain't gonna make no sense. You just have to come to an acceptance, you know, that we'll understand it better by and by. Right. But the hurtful part was that Larry, the person that I loved, was so stressed, so messed up that he, when somebody that you love and you lose them like that, the fact that they feel that they have nobody to come to, it made me sad that he didn't have it. He must have felt he didn't have anybody to come to, because any of us would have done anything to stop that. Right. So none of us had not a clue that something like that would happen. But I'm still living on and chewing on the goodness of the lessons that they taught me, as being like my big brother, being my producer, being my friend, being that surrogate father. You know, that they grew me up in the music industry. They protected me, looked out for me. You know, they let nothing bad happen to me. You know, they kept. They're very protective of me. They kept people at bay if they thought that they were not right for me. You know, they were very respectful of me. Our relationship was platonic. Some people thought I married Rodger. I married his music director. Rodger was my big brother. You know, and you know, the things that they taught me. Larry said to me early. He said, "Shirley, you want a hit record or you want a career?" He said, because if you want to hear records, it's going to go up the charts and come down the charts. But if you want a career, it takes time. Right. It takes time. You build a career. And so as a young artist, I was exposed to that kind of teaching real early in my career. And then Rodger, when Azure Day was on the top of the charts, he said, "Baby girl," he said, "Azure Day is on top of the charts." He said, "But I need to talk to you." And when we talked, he said, "That record can only stay up there for so long." He said, "The record company, they love you. They got your picture up. They'll name their kids after you." He said, "But when that record comes off the chart, baby, they're going to take your poster down." He said, "And put somebody else's up there." He said, "And you'll be lucky if they accept your phone call." He said, "This is what you do." He said, "Do a great record. Do a great live performance." He said, "But this is the key. Stay touchable to the people, and they will support you for the rest of your life." Baby, that's my story. Stay touchable to. I've been able to this music, whether I'm doing gospel, whether I'm doing R&B, whether I'm doing a concert, whether I'm doing a play, whatever I'm doing, being touchable to the people. First of all glory goes to God first, but the people, baby, I couldn't do what I do without the people.
Right. Absolutely. Well, that is a good point, because some people, they forget that. They get so big that they forget about the people. That is really good. Shirley, what do you want people to take away from watching your Unsung episode?
I want people to walk away getting to know me a little better, getting to know my heart, getting to know the passion that I have for the Lord and for people. I'm called to be an evangelist, so I'm looking for the hurting. You know, people that are hurting. I want to speak a word of encouragement to those that feel helpless and those that are hurting. You know, I got a song called "I Love Me Better Than That," right?
I was going to talk to you about that in just a second.
You know, because I want to help sister girls who ain't got who dealing with low self-esteem and no self-esteem, or maybe they're going through abuse, domestic violence, whether it's physical or mental or emotional. I wrote a song that would empower women to take it all back. I want my joy back. I want my peace back. I want my strength back. I want my hopes back. I want my dreams back.
That's right.
So don't you come back. I want my keys back. So I want to take this gift, this wonderful gift that God has given me, and these wonderful opportunities. I want to speak into people's lives, because what I come to realize, I don't sing R&B, I don't sing gospel, I don't sing pop. I sing life songs about life that's going to bless you wherever you are in your life. If you need inspiration, baby, I got it. If you need a sacred love song like the lady, her lover, and her Lord, or
Shirley, you all in my interview, Miss Shirley. You got to get out of my interview, because I was about to say some stuff. See, you messed me up. You ahead of me.
Slow me down. I got to hold my mule. I hold my mule, girl. I hold my mule.
Shirley, this is what I want to tell you.
I get excited. I get excited talking about this,
Because, see, there's 4 songs to me that describe Shirley Murdock's music, and there's 4 songs that have a story that I will always remember you by. First is "As We Lay." And then it's like you grew and then said, you know what, you're that lady's husband. And then I see some more growth is "I Love Me Better Than That." And then you take us to Jesus, her lady, her lover, and Lord. Those are the 4 songs that I see when I think of your music, the elevation of your music, that you take us up when a woman is down and out. Obviously, this is what she thinks of herself. She's in an adulterous relationship. Then she grows up and say, you're that lady's husband. And then I see "I Love Me Better Than That." And then all of a sudden, then we go to Jesus. Those are the songs when I think of you that describe you to me. when I think of your music, of your storyline to me when it comes to music.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
Okay, that's the story you're sticking to it.
That's it. Them 4 songs right there. You have a lot in there, but when I think of a story, and most people in the end, to me, when I listen to people's music, their music don't have like a storyline to me that as they progress throughout the years, and that's a storyline that I see with you, that you take us on a journey, and that's my musical journey when I think of Shirley Murdock. My musical journey with you, it takes me somewhere.
I'm glad to hear that, because that's really the goal, and I think too, we're all growing, we're all becoming, and I think that there should be music out there that will be the theme song of what you're going through. I remember that movie, I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
Yep.
We said every superhero needs a theme song. I think that music has that ability to thread throughout our life and be our theme song, to take us out of one situation to another, to take us to the next step of our lives, to encourage us, to make us imagine and to dream and to become and know that all things are possible.
Absolutely. And that's what I think that your music definitely does to us. Well, Shirley, it was a pleasure having you on the show. I just love you. Everybody, this is my friend, Miss Shirley Murdock. I love her. Such a beautiful, beautiful person. I want to make sure that everyone tunes in this Sunday, March 24th, for the story of Shirley Murdock. It's her unsung story. She's not unsung. She's just telling her story on Sunday on TV1. I want to make sure that everybody tunes in. It's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Make sure you watch the story of Shirley Murdock on Unsung. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, my friend, Miss Shirley Murdock. And, I just love you, Miss Shirley.
Thank you, baby. I love you. If you miss it at night, it's going to repeat at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If you want to keep up with me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Shirley Murdock, and on Instagram at Shirley Murdock, the number 4 Real, REAL, and I also have a Facebook page. I'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Again, Miss Shirley, I love you, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Awesome. My pleasure. Hey, look, I'll call you later. You know how we do,
Absolutely.
Right?
And I got to tell Dale to keep up them good words. Her husband he ministers on Facebook, and he brings a word for you on Facebook. So tell Dale to keep up the good work and keep bringing that word.
I sure will, baby.
Thank you.
Will. Take care. See you, honey. Bye.
So be sure to tune into the story of Miss Shirley Murdock, airing this Sunday on TV1. You don't want to miss it. And again, make sure you check her out. I love her. And then you can follow her musical journey. You can always go to YouTube if you want to hear the stories that I was telling you about. And if you have not heard Her Lady, Her Lover, and Lord, make sure you listen to that. And if you're going through anything, definitely make sure you go hear I Love Me Better Than That. Again, my friend, Miss Shirley Murdock on the Lady Charmaine Live Show. Have a great day. Bye-bye.